Welcome to This Just In, the show bringing you the latest advancements in healthcare, strategy, innovation, and public policy. And now, for the fastest voice in healthcare, here's your host, Justin Barnes.
Welcome back to This Just In Radio Show, broadcasting live from HIMSS26 in sunny Las Vegas. Very excited to introduce my next guest and good friend of the show, Hal Wolf, President and CEO of HIMSS. Welcome back to the show, my good friend.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be back.
It's great to have you. So first of all, how long have you been in town? How you start prepping?
Saturday morning.
Okay, excellent. And so tell us about the conference. What's new in the energy here? Lots going on. I've already bragged a lot on a previous broadcast this morning about what's here. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. But first of all, you tell us from your perspective what's new and all the good stuff happening.
Well, first of all, amazingly packed field because finally we're on one campus versus two because all the construction's done.
Yes.
So you're feeling the full force of 25,000 people that are just buzzing from one end to the other. I mean, the hallways are jammed. All the booths are really active. And the sessions are going incredibly well.
Absolutely.
I got here Saturday morning, been working since Saturday morning.
Yes.
and all day Sunday, all day Monday, a whole bunch of sessions going on. So it's just a hub of activity.
It is. And so my topic for the previous show that I just did was there are tens of thousands of leaders here. And this is my 26th HIMSS in a row. Not in a row, 26 HIMSS out of 30 years, but this is my 12th year broadcasting the radio show live from HIMSS. Even the off year that we did with COVID, you joined us remotely, a lot of other guests, so that was fantastic. But my point there is, HIMSS is what you make it. This is always wildly successful. I actually make my numbers for the year usually by April or May because of HIMSS annual conference. Whatever your goals are, you can accomplish them because of what HIMSS brings to us as an industry. All the people, the tens of thousands of thought leaders here, the doers that are here, you can absolutely achieve your goals. And if you don't achieve your goals, that's on you. So that's one thing, I would bring up. I love this conference, and it affords me so much opportunity.
Well, Justin, I mean, what you're hitting on is exactly right. It's like almost anything in life, though. You get out of it what you put into it.
Yep.
And having attended HIMSS for many years prior to taking on this position 8 years ago, we would come in with a game plan. What is it we need?
Absolutely.
We would divide up into teams, go out. Each team would have to solve the same problem, and they would come back and say, what did you pick? I think we talked about this once before.
That's right.
That's what makes this spectacular. You have over 1,000 vendors here,
right?
Market suppliers, every single facet of the ecosystem.
Yep.
So there are answers to find.
Absolutely.
It's just a question of what's the problem you're trying to solve.
Great point. So obviously a lot going on. What's new this year? I know we only have a 12-minute show, and there's lots of new stuff, but what are the main highlights here?
Yeah, I think from my standpoint, it's impossible to talk anything about with a little bit of AI jumped into it. What's different is not AI.
Yeah.
What's different is what we're talking about. So we've gone from it's a concept. Next year, a couple people have deployed it. Right. By the way, let's go back to the first year. It's a concept, but we probably shouldn't do anything with it.
There you go. Right.
Next year, a couple people have deployed it.
Yeah.
Third year, 5% of the ecosystem at the highest levels deployed it. This year, it's friggin' everywhere.
That's right.
So what's happened is I think we're seeing the tools maturing.
Yes.
I think we're seeing the results of the activities being documented. So people are fundamentally now documenting outcomes, what's working, what's not. And so the maturity level is improved dramatically.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing that with all of our guests and what's being deployed out there. Some pilot sites, but also just large-scale implementations on the clinical side, the financial side, administrative side, with real tangible ROI. These aren't case studies? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the ROIs are being measured appropriately. So let me come back to that. We're trying to accomplish two things. We're trying to bend the cost curve.
Yes.
You're not going to walk in the door and spend $1 million today, deploy AI, and you're spending $800,000 the next. It doesn't work that way.
Yep.
But if you're spending $1 million and you're about ready to spend 1.2, you might come in at 1.1 or 1.15, something, 05. So what we're trying to do is to supplement to reduce capital cost of building facilities and make up for significant workforce shortages and improve predictive modeling on prevention both at primary and secondary levels.
Yeah, you hit on a great point, and my listeners, heard this earlier from Anish. Even we had Anish Chopra and I had a great conversation on this. Working towards deflationary costs in healthcare. This is really what we expect from AI. It's going to take us as implementers, us as innovators, government programs, care models, all coming together, but creating a real deflationary model because we can't continue to have inflation. But to your point, it will for the short run. But our main goal, success in 5 to 10 years from now, is can we actually create a deflationary curve here through the use of technology?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I'm focusing a little bit too much probably on the word inflation.
Yeah.
But increased cost versus how much that increase is going to be.
Correct, yes.
As opposed to the pure inflation we're probably going to be getting as a country.
Right.
Because we got a few things going on right now that are going to impact inflation.
Yes.
But fundamentally, absolutely correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too technical. Sorry about that.
I love it. What are you most excited about happening in healthcare today?
The sharing and the communication globally. There is no one center like the United States that has any kind of a lock on how the global app ecosystem is contributing. What we're seeing is it's coming from all around the globe. And the reason it's coming around the globe is that before, when you had to go through translation of software, get to a system, proprietary, it was hard to translate. We have tools now that do it very quickly. Yep. The second thing that I'm really excited about is the division between the medical model and the health model. So
that's great. Yes.
I'm and this is gonna be counterintuitive.
Love it.
So bear with me.
Yep.
We always thought that the health model would develop, which is really the consumer-driven device care from home, and it would be absorbed by the medical model, and they would share with each other. Hasn't happened.
Right.
Medical model, for all the reasons it always does, a little bit slow, a little defensive, doesn't want to go through change that radically. Meanwhile, because of AI, machine learning, et cetera, the health model's taken off.
Right.
And the consumer element in the health model has accelerated. And so I think it's time for the medical model just to recognize that, play off of it, let the health model run with primary and secondary prevention.
Right.
And let's take those precious resources back into the medical model for higher cases.
Yep. Higher acuity. No, I love that perspective. So kind of building on that, what advice would you give to leaders where they must focus today to best navigate and position their organization for tomorrow? What are some of the best practices there that you'd share?
Readiness, education. Don't go into something you're not prepared for. And be ready to change your business practices to adopt to the new technology, not to adopt the new technology to your current business practice.
Right.
As
break
always.
things faster.
Right.
Yeah.
NT plus OO equals COO. New technology plus old organization equals costly old organization.
Yes.
This is a time to change scope of practice. This is a time to redesign what you're doing to maximize your return, your output, and take advantage of the tools around you.
I love it. So kind of in that, you made me think back to, I heard you use that analogy late last year. You talked about the growth of HIMSS over the past year or so, and you made greater than that. Can you hit some of those numbers again? This was really, you got up on stage at the Georgia HIMSS annual conference and just crushed it with some phenomenal growth in numbers and opportunity for what HIMSS is experiencing. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, happy to. So I'll go back and just reiterate, 8 years ago, we were a little under 75,000 members globally. Today, we're well over 130.
Yeah.
And it's even much higher than that, but we'd like to keep the number lower because it's just growing.
Yep.
So we're 130,000 plus. 2 out of 5 HIMSS members are now outside of North America. North America is about 85,000.
Yeah.
So we continue to grow in North America. We were very well saturated. Our chapters are growing. Our communities are growing inside North America and communities outside North America, which can be both by discipline and region.
Yep.
And the growth has been absolutely in the Middle East. The growth has been in Europe. And the growth has been in Asia Pac. A lot of work at the government level has driven part of this. So whether we're in Taiwan, Korea, Indonesia, Australia, where we're doing, government-wide programs of measuring their prowess and development in digital health, or in Europe, where we've done Italy, Germany, Portugal, we believe is next, Romania we finished this year. Yeah. All of those countries are fundamentally investing and using the recognized international standard of the HIMSS maturity models to measure their growth.
Yeah, I love that. And I'll even make a point, because Seppi emailed me a couple of days ago, actually a couple of weeks ago, and said, Justin, when you do your live show, let me remind you where you came from and all the chapters that helped you in your time, not only nationally, but you also invested locally. So please make a note of that. And I absolutely will. So the HIMSS, HIMSS, again, what I said earlier and this morning, HIMSS affords you every opportunity that you want to grow your career professionally and personally, and you get out of it whatever you put into it. But also engage with the local chapters, because that's where a lot of this work is done, and all that local collaboration. So it's great that we come here once a year, but think about that local chapter. Now, those chapters globally, but certainly here in the U.S. is near and dear to my heart. We get some of the Georgia people in the group here in front of us. So we love the Georgia chapter, one of the best chapters of all time. However, a lot of great chapters around the country, but invest locally and get active, because that's where a lot of the change happens. So.
It is. Now, you mentioned Seppi's first name.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Seppi Brown.
That's right. Yeah. And Seppi has taken on a new role as
communications chair. I'm not sure.
No, so okay. At HIMSS,
yep.
Seppi has taken on the responsibility of coordinating the chapters, the communities. Yep. We couldn't be more thrilled. There isn't anyone better qualified we could think of.
Yeah.
Massive enthusiasm, always looking for the angles. And yes, from the Georgia chapter.
Absolutely. No, Seppi's absolutely amazing. I agree. In closing here, what are some of the events coming up? HIMSS, you talked about the international expansion and growth. What's one of the next shows? What are the next couple of shows coming up, either here in the U.S. or globally, that you want to bring up?
Yeah, so, of course, here, very important. Coming up, there's going to be an AI forum in the United States. That's going to be very important. We have chapter leader events coming up. That'll be very important. Globally, we have HIMSS Europe coming up in May. That's going to be in Copenhagen on the 18th and 19th of May.
Excellent.
And that has already, busting at the brim. This is going to be the biggest one ever, which is saying a lot, because we grew a lot last year when we were in Paris.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
So Denmark is supporting us, and it's really important.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be in Singapore this year for Asia Pac in September. So those are our big events. Mm-hmm. We'll be redoing Eurasia, of course, in Istanbul. And we continue to work with Informa, who's our partner here.
Absolutely.
With WHX Tech, which is out of Dubai. And so we'll be looking forward to those areas, we hope, calming down. I know there's a lot of activity going on there right now. But, HIMSS is a global entity. We'll move the events around as we need to.
Yep.
But that's part of our growth.
Love it. Congratulations on all the success, Hal. It's great to have you back on air.
Thank you,
You're
Justin.
welcome anytime, and have a great rest of your conference.
Thank you, Justin. Really appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Welcome back to This Justin Radio Show, broadcasting live from HIMSS26 in sunny Las Vegas. Very excited about my next guest, Michael Giannopoulos, founder and CEO of the All Paths Group. Welcome back to the show, my good friend.
Thank you, Justin. Great to be here.
It's great to have you here. When did you get in town?
I got in last night, late last night.
Okay. And when do you leave town?
I will be leaving on Thursday.
Okay. What are your goals for the next couple of days while you're here?
Networking, learning as much as I possibly can. Learning is something that is incumbent upon every person who's attending this show or every person who's presenting in this show.
Absolutely.
So,
yep. How many HIMSS have you been to over your career?
At this point, I think it's over 10.
Yep. Awesome. Love it. So what's one bold move that healthcare leaders need to make to best position their organization?
So if I had a CEO of a healthcare leader right now in front of me,
yep,
be the patient.
Love it.
So the reason I say be the patient is there is no one who wakes up in the morning and decides, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to go check myself into an emergency room.
Good point.
Not a single person.
Right.
In fact, there's almost nothing that happens inside of a hospital that is pleasant. So yes, we have incredible technology, artificial intelligence, incredible physicians. But what we need leaders to do is to take those Gemba walks, those rounding walks with everybody in the morning, and then really be the patient. I think one day, as an inpatient, will expose a series of gaps that you might have that might go unrecognized.
Right.
And that helps you holistically determine what your next course of action is.
I love that. And that's a kind of a theme that I've been hearing through my radio show this morning. Keeping the patient front and center, and really thinking whenever we all try and solve problems. And the reason we're here is at the end of the day, it is because of the patient. But sometimes we get caught up in other aspects of it. But the fact that, keeping the patient front and center, I love that answer. So where are you seeing tangible ROI today in healthcare, digital health, or AI? We start off with pilots, but also at scale. What are you seeing?
There's tons of pilots. There's tons of pilots that have gone wrong.
Yep.
I think one of the biggest problems that I'll say is folks decided that they wanted to boil the ocean, especially with AI. Mm-hmm. Where I have seen success is leveraging narrow AI, similar to how we've done for decades within radiology and other ologies, and focusing around things that make an impactful difference on the caregivers, care providers, and the capacity of organizations to provide care. That is around supply chain, logistics, and error handling. Yep. So I've seen examples of artificial intelligence being used within the context of supply chain, yep. optimizations within supply chain, and that has ripple effects across an organization that impact care, impact burnout, impact every aspect that touches a healthcare organization.
Yep. Love it. We have a couple extra seconds here. What are some of the projects you're working on that you're most excited about personally?
There's some automation projects right now leveraging artificial intelligence that, again, are narrowly focused, but will provide tremendous benefit to organizations that adopt them. So I'm working with a lot of the leadership organizations within the conference here,
yes,
and some of the AI organizations within the conference here to build that narrow focus that has maximum impact. And we already have go-to-market strategies for many of these things. We have proof of concepts, we have pilot engagements, and we're really looking forward to that. I'm a big believer in small changes that yield huge results.
Yeah. Love it. People can all implement those types of things anyhow. So I love that.
Absolutely.
Great point.
It has to be available yep. immediately. The yep. ROI can't be 2 years.
Right.
It has to be 3 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
That's what makes it happen.
Love that. My next question, how do we keep healthcare human in an AI world?
So agents are everywhere, okay? And everybody espouses the idea of agent-to-agent communication. I think there's a miscalculation here. And that miscalculation is if your agent is talking to my agent, okay, then you and I are fundamentally disconnected.
Right.
Okay, there's an abstraction layer behind that. What I think will happen as time goes on and as these things become better is that it will build a necessity for you and I to have that in-person discussion and that in-person connection. Because we can do it over Zoom or Teams or any of the other online platforms. We can do it agent to agent, but a 20-minute encounter face-to-face with someone, right. I think makes all the difference. So yes, we will continue to make progress. Agents will continue to be built and do a lot of things, and automation will continue. Right. But the human aspect of it really comes down to, you, me, and again, the patient, what it is that we are trying to accomplish.
Love that. Yeah, that's actually the resounding theme that I've had when I've asked that question of my previous 7 guests today. What's great is we're out focusing on the patient. You even brought it up now a couple of times, and certainly the critical aspect, and also the value that it delivers to the patient, and how to keep this, front and center. Yeah. Before I ask the last question here, what do you hope to accomplish while you're here over the next couple of days specifically?
Outside of the learning aspect that we spoke about earlier,
yep.
there are certain measures of success that I have for individuals and organizations that I'm meeting with. Mm-hmm. Again, that I think dovetails into your previous question. Mm-hmm. These are individuals and organizations that I talk to on a daily basis, right. but I do not have the opportunity to meet with.
There you go.
So today and tomorrow, I am meeting with these people.
Right.
That kind of solidifies a relationship. That solidifies trust.
Yep. Yeah, and the reason I like to ask that question and attack it from a couple of different ways, because I'm encouraging people to get out there more. We kind of not hide behind our Zooms and our cameras and our phones and stuff like that, but these conferences are what they make it. You kind of heard probably off air a little bit when I was talking to Hal earlier. These conferences are what we make it. And being here and going to the other ones out there, it's really important to get out of behind your desk or get out of your house and get out there and go meet the people. And even Marianne Yeager from Sequoia Project, she brought this up also on air earlier this morning, and I absolutely agreed. You can have more candid conversations also. Sometimes we're tackling big problems and very complex problems, certainly in her world of interoperability and my world of interoperability. So having those real candid conversations face-to-face is a lot easier and usually much more traction than on a Zoom call or in your home or on a conference call.
Absolutely. There is no substitute for interpersonal relations and communication.
Right. And this world of social media and video and Zooms and all that have broken a lot of that. And I want to get us back out into shaking hands, meeting face-to-face, eye-to-eye, and tackling real-world problems together, collaboratively.
They have. And back to the question that you asked earlier about making AI more human.
There you go.
Okay. AI will force us to be more human.
There you go.
There is a point in time where if I can't speak to you, I will no longer have an engagement policy, an engagement mindset with you.
Right.
So one way or another, yes, the AIs can do our logistics if they want to in the background, but at some point or another, you and I have to have this conversation.
Guys,
so
absolutely true. Last question. What must we get right in the next 3 years in healthcare and health IT?
Trust.
Excellent.
Trust. We can no longer have technology for the sake of technology.
Right.
Speeds and feeds are great. Advanced capabilities are awesome. This is what my firm does all day, every day. But what's most important is establishing, maintaining trust. Now that's through governance. That's through policy. It doesn't have to be, government policy. It could be just policy between organizations, policy within organizations.
Right.
And that is the most important thing to allow us to spring forward, to the next level. Because there's nothing more dangerous in my mindset than an EMR that's been opened up to an agent that is injecting poison data or synthetic data into an EMR code base. You're talking patient safety.
Yes.
And there can't be anything that interferes with that. So that trust component, again, ripple effects. Small drop in a giant pond, but it has ripple effects.
Right.
So I think the most important thing over the next 2 to 3 years is, building that trust, maintaining that trust, and building upon that foundation.
Absolutely. I agree. It's actually a theme that's coming up slowly, but it's also very important, is trust. And the last person that brought it up was Marianne Yeager, actually. But she does it from the data interoperability standpoint and Sequoia Project and trusted exchanges and the QHIMSS and TEFCA and all those kind of things. Because our data, we need to have trust in the data. You mentioned that as well, that we need to have trust in the information that we have. And as we all know, our AI and all these agents are only as good as the data that it's pulling and feeding from. So you've got to have trust in whether, at multiple levels in this chain.
Correct.
So in this closing minute or so, tell us about All Paths Group. Usually don't have time to dive in too deep, but we do right now. So tell us about your organization, because you were with Dell for a long time. So give it a couple minutes about your, or 30 seconds about your background, and then All Paths Group.
Sure. So the All Paths Group is an organization that specializes in advisory, consulting, and strategy services for healthcare and life sciences and other industry verticals. We are made up of a series of subject matter experts and previous healthcare executives such as myself. And we help provide kind of a second pair of eyes to validate, help CTOs, CIOs, organizations of all types in their validation process. An unfiltered opinion.
Right.
It's one of the things that I'm known for is not being able to quiet down. So an unfiltered opinion, I think, whether you want to hear it or don't want to hear it, is something that might be beneficial to you. So that's kind of what we do, whether it's artificial intelligence, modernization of infrastructure, this issue over trust and data poisoning.
Absolutely.
Which ultimately is a network and security issue. governance, etc.
Yep.
So that's what we specialize in.
Excellent. Well, we are actually going to have you back because I want to have we'll focus an episode just on controversial topics too. I think that'd be fun to do a show.
I would love that.
I know you would. I would love it too. So we'll have you back. Michael Giannopoulos, thank you so much, my good friend, for joining us today.
Appreciate
As
you.
always, my
Thank
friend.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much to all of my guests and certainly all of you that tuned in. Also, note of gratitude to AWS and AMD as dedicated partners of my weekly syndicated This Just In radio show, and to everyone that voted us Healthcare Podcast of the Year last year. Thank you so much to Roberta Mullen from Healthcare Now Radio that produced my show now for 12 years, and Jake Reed, my second producer, who barely gets rest because of all of my crazy show and guest ideas. And certainly a big thank you to Greg Masters. Greg's been fantastic through the years. Truly appreciate him. And certainly the entire HIMSS organization, Hal Wolf and the HIMSS team for this opportunity to broadcast from HIMSS26 here in sunny Las Vegas, but also broadcasting every year for the last 12 years from HIMSS. And a big thank you again to all of my listeners and supporters. Please tune in as this show broadcasts weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific. As always, you can find me on LinkedIn at Justin T. Barnes, or track me on Twitter at HIT Advisor, and use the hashtag ThisJustinRadio so we can respond to your comments from the show. If you miss any of this broadcast, all of my shows from This Justin Radio are posted at Amazon Music, YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spreaker, and the TuneIn platforms. And certainly you can check out all the new thought leadership that we continue to post at justinbarnes.com. Thanks, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.